welcome to the Unreliable Narrator, a pop culture podcast with me, Shabir.
And me, Krish.
Wonderful. On today's episode, we're talking about Christmas specials, TV shows that have had special Christmas episodes. For those of you who didn't know what I meant by Christmas special, Krish.
Absolute favourite time of the year, Christmas.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it, man. Just the vibe, everyone's together.
Do you ever watch a lot of Christmas TV growing up?
Do you know what? I think I did. I watched a lot of TV growing up, not so much now. Yeah. And it was just like one of those things that I'd just sit around with my family, or I'd even be at my grandma's house and would always watch the Christmas specials with my uncles and my grandma and my granddad. And it's just nostalgic for me. And when I bring back that time of like sitting near the fireplace, it's just cozy, man. I absolutely love the time.
I think for me as well, Christmas time was a big time for watching movies and TV.
Yeah,
a lot of my memories growing up at Christmas was watching movies and Christmas specials of, whatever I'm going to talk about today. You'll see some of these episodes.
It's like quite a nostalgic feeling, isn't it?
I think a big factor for me is nostalgia.
Yeah,
with definitely. Christmas TV specials in general, because you'll see the episodes I've chosen. A big thing is,
and I'm hoping that the listeners can get a feeling of that too, because I don't know. I'm hoping Christmas is the same this year, but we know it's kind of not going to be exactly the same. So
yeah. A bit different, but it's a lot more binge watching.
Exactly.
Shows. So
there you go.
Do you want to kick it off with one of your what have you got on your list?
Okay, well, I won't say everything I've got on the list, but I'll start with the first one, and which I know, by the way, you don't like this show.
Okay.
So it'd be interesting to hear your views on it. But it's The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, God.
And it's
Here we go.
I knew you were going to say that. But yeah, it's The Big Bang Theory. It's a season 6 show, episode 11.
Yeah.
And it's the Christmas special. It's called The Santa Simulation. And yeah, man, like Big Bang Theory's had like 11 seasons, I think. So it's had a few different Christmas specials. But I just really enjoyed this one. I'm not going to give like a full-on summary. Go watch it if you really want to.
Yeah, we've been spoiling.
We've been spoiling every episode of every show we've discussed. And yeah, I think
to be fair, we're assuming that anybody who listens to
has already seen it, right?
In-depth analyses has already watched.
Yeah, for sure.
The only difference is this time they don't know what's coming up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we could spoil some stuff.
But yeah, man.
So spoiler alert. Going forward.
But yeah, this episode it starts with like this the characters, obviously the main guys, Sheldon, Raj, Leonard, Howard. They're all playing. They've all got this cozy night in, and they're playing like Dungeons and Dragons.
Here we go.
Listen, right, I don't even play Dungeons and Dragons. Is a game of your time, not mine.
Oh, these guys are nerds, so they play Dungeons and Dragons, and they can't talk to girls.
All right, okay, okay.
You know how I feel about.
Yeah, I know how you feel about it. But let me just tell you what. Right, I like this show because.
Yeah.
Right. Regardless of how like unrealistic the characters are and their whole lives are, I feel like when you watch a show for long enough, you just like kind of become attached to the characters. That's fair to say, isn't it? Though
I think like, you are more forgiving of the show than because I watched the first 3 seasons.
Right. Don't get me wrong. I know this is a season 6 episode, but the first 3 seasons of the show are by far the best, and it does go downhill from there.
Oh, good. But season 3. Then.
But I don't think there even is a noteworthy Christmas special in the first 3 seasons.
I can't remember ever seeing.
No.
I remember some paintball stuff, and that being the only special.
That was a good episode. Yeah. Not a Christmas special, but it was a good episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just it starts off with this cozy D&D like game nights in, and the girls aren't allowed to play, obviously because there's no girls allowed when you play a game like Dungeons & Dragons.
Of course, because these guys are nerds. If we didn't already realise, no girls allowed. And they have milk and cookies probably while playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, you're right. Please don't jump to conclusions. But I just love it, man. And it's like a Christmas twist on it.
Was that though? Was that accurate?
I'm about to leave right now. I'm about to leave this whole show right now. But yeah, it's pretty accurate. But like I said, I don't know why I enjoy the show so much and why I enjoyed this Christmas special so much. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of the show, and this show just like embodied all the geekiness and all the things we love about the show.
So what's the
Christmas special?
What happens that's Christmassy in this episode?
So that's the whole game. The whole episode revolves around this like game night, but this D&D game that they've played like a million times in every other episode. Right. It's a Christmas twist. So they've got like elves and they're playing like to retrieve like Santa from this like locked dungeon, whatever cave. It's that kind of thing. But you kind of have to. I'm not going to give like an in-depth summary of the episode. Like I said, you should watch it.
I don't have the patience for that.
I don't think you'd want that either. But I don't know what else to say. Like it's just a good Christmas episode. Right. Listen.
The good thing is, it can only go up from here.
I can't stand this. Right. The most pretentious list ever, he's gonna have some like show from some black and it's gonna be black and white
TV shows,
4:3 aspect ratio, made in the 1940s. It's in French or something like that.
Yeah. Speaking of obscure French black and white 1940s, I've got The Simpsons on my list. That's the first one.
Right, I enjoy The Simpsons. How are you gonna hate on me for The Big Bang, and then your first episode is a kids show?
The Simpsons is a kids show.
A cartoon there.
I did everybody to send messages of roasting Chris for saying that Simpsons.
No, do you know what I mean?
The
Like,
Simpsons is a kids show, apparently.
no, because the way you were talking about me is like,
attitude.
oh, no taste, and then you come with the high caliber show of The Simpsons.
Can I just say, the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons is the highest caliber ever. Now, there's about 30 seasons right now. I'm not sure if there's a season
crazy.
31. I've not been following that, but I do know there's at least 30. But for me, I've only watched the first 10 to 12. I'd say 12. And they're the only seasons I'd say that are worth watching. The first 12 seasons of The Simpsons, highest caliber.
I know I just asked why is that, but I know like, okay, you just said there's like 30, maybe plus seasons.
Yeah.
And the show has to fall off at some point. Because how does Simpsons maintain that like consistency for 30 seasons?
It hasn't maintained that consistency. That's
Okay, even if it hasn't
consistency.
maintained, you're saying it hasn't maintained the quality, and I agree with that, right? It just can't.
The success is always there. I mean,
So how's it maintain like the content, like the content creation, the ideas behind each episode? That must be like so hard to do, right?
that must be difficult. I'm not sure.
So respect where respect is due, like to have that many
I'm not sure the
episodes that come out.
stats are in terms of how successful it's been over the last, like, it must be some sort of fall off in viewership.
Maybe.
But the first 12 seasons, maybe the first half of those first 12 seasons, they had writers like Conan O'Brien.
Right, yeah.
These guys who...
He's actually really funny.
He's
that
really
guy.
funny. And they had the best writers and the best guys behind the scenes, right?
So which one is your chosen Christmas special? Because I know there's loads, right? 30 plus seasons, there's quite a few.
There's one or two.
Yeah.
For me, it's season 1, episode 1. It's where it all started. The
Nice.
Simpsons roasting on an open fire. You must have seen this one.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe a while ago though.
yeah, it must have been a while ago. I used to have this on videotape as well, I remember.
Really?
I used to love this episode.
The full season, you mean, like on
No, it wasn't a
VHS?
full it was like a collection of a few episodes.
Ah, right. Okay.
Maybe Christmas specials, actually.
Who knows?
And
Yeah.
this was on there. So, the story is Bart gets a tattoo on his arm because he thinks his mum was... For Christmas.
Who's Bart?
Who's Bart? How young are you? So Bart gets a Christmas tattoo. No, it's not a Christmas tattoo. It's a tattoo that says mother.
Right.
As a Christmas gift for his mother. She hates it. She then goes to the dermatologist or whatever to get it removed
Yeah.
and spends all the Christmas budget on that.
Right.
She's saying, doesn't matter. Homer's Christmas bonus will pay for the Christmas gifts.
Oh.
But guess what?
It doesn't.
There's no Christmas bonus. Mr. Burns is not a nice person. He's a billionaire. We don't like billionaires.
No.
Especially Mr. Burns. And basically, no Christmas bonus. Homer's stuck. What does he do? He gets a job as a mall Santa.
Nice.
Right? When that pay comes in, the pay isn't enough after tax or whatever. So I think Barney Gumble says to him, there's a dog race going on. You can bet some money, win some money back, Christmas sorted. So he goes there, Bart goes with him, and they bet money on this one dog, Santa's little helper.
All right. Okay.
And Bart is like, oh, this is just like, Charlie Brown. It's just like Tiny Tim, all these special Christmas special episodes and stuff. The good guys, they expect him to be like a nice, happy, cozy little story. But obviously, guess what happens? Their dog comes last, right? That's the story. But on the plus side, they get to keep the dog, Santa's little helper.
Nice. Yeah.
They get to keep it, take it back home.
Kind of a happy ending.
And that dog has been in the show pretty much the whole time.
Everything's right.
Kind of a happy little... But for me, that was a very distinct...
That's a really good episode.
memory.
You know.
Such a good episode.
And a good starting one.
It's Simpsons in its prime because it's very realistic. It's almost like a family drama.
Yeah. Right.
Less cartoonish, like it becomes really cartoonish later on.
Do you think it's interesting how they literally launched the show with a Christmas special? Because that's not like I can't think of any other show that's really
there
done
was
that.
the Simpsons shorts before that.
Right, was it?
Shorts on the
Right.
Tracy Ullman show actually,
Oh, right.
and she sort of gave them that platform, and then it became a sort of regular scheduled show. And I think it's such a good thing to start with a Christmas episode. No,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, quite unheard of. So,
but yeah, that's one of my favorite Christmas specials.
lovely stuff.
What have you got next?
Next, I'll just mention this in passing because I feel like it might be on your list too.
Okay.
But it is, we've already talked about it, right? It's the Black Mirror standalone Christmas special, White Christmas.
It was on my list, actually.
Yeah, I just have to mention this one again.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going
I wasn't going to talk about it, though.
Yeah. But when we sort of planned the anthology series that we were doing, and we said we're going to do Black Mirror, but then we planned afterwards the Christmas stuff. Yeah. So I just had to mention this one again. Yeah, but yeah, we've already talked about it. So, you know, if you want to hear a summary of that, then go back and listen to episode number 1.
Go and listen to our first ever episode on anthologies, where we talk in depth about it. But again, it's a very different type of Christmas.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's not like anything else that's going to be on your list, probably.
Yeah, true.
And not like anything else that's on my list. It's a very...
It's not a traditional cozy Christmas story. It's not exactly a happy ending. In fact, it's not a happy ending at all.
Yeah, it's not a happy ending.
But more dystopian. But it's a very in-theme episode of Black Mirror.
And just like another point to mention is that I watched this when I was much older. The other ones, I was just, for example, the Big Bang one, the Simpsons one, even that you mentioned. I can remember watching these as a kid. Or just much younger, yeah. So the Black Mirror one, I feel like, maybe for a bit of an older audience, but just an absolute quality episode.
Definitely worth checking out for anybody who's not checked it out. If you do want to check it out, don't listen to our episode 1.
If you haven't seen it yet.
Do spoil it. But yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much mine.
Oh, that was your second one?
Well, I might as well just go back to you.
Do you know what? You won't be surprised to hear.
Okay, let's hear it.
Friends is on my list.
Of course it is.
Of course Friends is on my list.
Can I just say this, by the way? I've never actually watched, like, Friends properly.
You've never watched it?
Not properly.
It's before your time.
Yeah, it's before. Well, the thing is, I have loads of friends that, like, love Friends, love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Those are shows before...
Carry on.
Shows before my time.
Yeah.
But I mean one friend, by the way. But yeah, I just haven't watched it for some reason. I don't know what it is, but...
I think maybe it's too before your time to enjoy.
Do you think, right? Because Big Bang made it to my list. I'm sorry to interrupt you, by the way, but Big Bang made it to my list, and that's kind of like more of a show of my time, whereas Friends...
Yeah. Unfortunately, if that's the caliber of show you've got...
Okay.
Oh, God. Big Bang Theory.
Here we go.
Do you know, Big Bang is sat on the shoulders of a sitcom like Friends, because Friends is what started off.
I'm guessing with the Friends as well, there's multiple Christmas specials.
There's quite a few. I think there's a few.
Yeah. So which one did you choose?
With American shows in general, what I've noticed is they do a lot of Thanksgiving specials.
They do.
And Christmas doesn't seem to be always on the list.
Yeah, that's true. Thanksgiving for them must just be a bigger holiday.
Probably bigger, yeah.
But I don't know. Or equally as big as a holiday as Christmas.
Yeah, I guess so. So the one on my list is the one with the holiday armadillo. No one's going to be surprised to hear. The story of this episode, in summary, Ross has Ben for Christmas. Ben is his son, by the way. I'm talking to Chris directly now because
I don't know.
I have no idea who these people are. So Ben is Ross's son.
No, I know the main characters.
Ross gets to keep him for the holidays. And he wants to teach Ben about his culture, his heritage. Ross is Jewish. But Ben has been spending time with his mum and his mum's lesbian partner, Carol and Susan. And I think Susan dresses up as Santa every year, and he's used to sort of Christmas and Santa Claus. So he's not too interested in learning about Jewish culture and heritage. So that's what Ross's thing is, to get him interested. And it's kind of, there's a few different storylines going on. I think Rachel and Joey are living together at this point.
All right.
And Phoebe, who Rachel used to live with, getting quite layered this story now. Rachel and Phoebe lived together for a while, but Rachel went with Joey because the flat burned down, I think. And when I'm
just going to pretend like I understand what you're saying.
In this episode, the flat was renovated, and Phoebe's like, I want Rachel back, but she doesn't want to say it directly. When they eventually go back to their flat, it's been renovated as a 1-bedroom flat. So Rachel has no choice but to stick with Joey. Feelings hurt. And I think at one point Chandler's got a dinner reservation for somewhere, but it's falling through. So he rents a Santa costume and comes back to teach Ben about Christmas and Judaism, because I don't think Ross could find a Santa suit or something like that. So I think Chandler's coming in to rescue. So it's kind of sweet that they've got this dynamic.
Yeah. So why did this episode stick out?
It's just a funny episode.
Just a funny one.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, Joey comes to the rescue to teach Ben, but he couldn't find a Santa costume, so he's got a Superman costume.
All right.
And then Phoebe and Rachel come in later, and she goes, I understand why Superman's here. Why is there an armadillo, or why is there a porcupine at the Easter Bunny's funeral or something like that?
Right, okay.
Yeah, because Phoebe's a wacky one. But it's just a very memorable, funny episode.
Do you know what? That's exactly how I felt with the Big Bang one.
Yeah.
And you know how you were going like, just going like deep into the plots and the storyline of each episode. And that's just one episode, bear in mind you're talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like,
That's like a 20-minute episode as well. Yeah. There's so much going on.
There's so much going on. And because it builds off of each season and each episode, I feel like Big Bang does the same. That's why I was kind of like, I'm not going to go into detail, but I see what you mean. For someone who's like a big Friends fan like you, obviously you're gonna love that.
Man. And if anybody's not seen Friends, what are you doing?
Just at me. Just literally at me. Say it to my face.
You're sat here, I'm telling you. Please watch Friends. Or if not, there's more shows on my list that I think I would. I
think there's one on your list that I'm going to have to ask you to expand on and sell me on.
Talk about it soon.
But
what's on yours next?
I'm going to talk about the In-Betweeners.
Here we go again. Now, to be fair, In-Betweeners has a big fan base.
It has a huge fan base. I'm
just not in that fan base personally.
No. I feel like, again, more of a show of my time rather than your time.
That you say that, but
actually, I'm not sure.
In my sort of circle of friend, singular, there's a lot of people who recommend In-Betweeners to me, and they have done for the past 5+ years.
I genuinely think, this is right. Because In-Betweeners is a British comedy show.
Yeah.
And we just discussed The Big Bang and Friends, which are both American shows. And Simpsons, right? But Simpsons is funny. I find Simpsons really funny. And I do find Big Bang, and I know people find Friends funny. You just said the Christmas one is a really funny episode, right? But British sitcoms, as far as I'm aware, do not add those like fake laughs in.
Oh yeah, canned laughter.
Is that what it is, right? I didn't know what it was called, but they don't add them in. And I think they must time it because it comes in at like every 6.5 seconds just to force a laugh out of you. And
Friends was filmed in front of a live audience.
Is that how?
It was all real laughter.
Well, I know. Okay, a lot of modern like American sitcoms don't do that then because they're not filmed in front of a live audience.
I think Big Bang is fake.
Yeah, it's a fake laugh. It's a fake laugh.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They couldn't get a real audience to laugh.
All right. Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
They
can't
used
have a serious
the Friends
discussion now.
Laugh track, and they're like, we'll just reuse this.
Can't even have a serious discussion. But no, the point I'm trying to make is like. Never mind. The point I'm trying to make is that. Yeah, for me, In-Betweeners, it just didn't have to like tell you when to laugh, or you didn't have to listen to when other people were laughing. I just genuinely found like it to be really funny and more relatable because it's a British show.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's in a school setting. It's about school kids in sixth form,
very relatable.
Growing up. Yeah,
I was saying how I've always been recommended In-Betweeners for the past 5+ years.
I genuinely think
no one's ever recommended me Big Bang Theory because they just know.
They know it's not your cup of tea. Which
I feel like In-Betweeners has a bigger, in this country anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Like
audience.
I know it has a huge UK fan base, as it should. It deserves it. Do you know about the American sort of like rip-off of the show?
I heard there was an American version.
Bro, it flopped hard. It was awful.
Yikes.
I don't know what it is, man, but America, like, here's the thing about America, right? No disrespect, but they have fantastic and amazing production value. Yeah. And sometimes story just goes completely out the window and relatability goes with that. And that's exactly what happened with The In-Betweeners.
Broad
yeah, The In-Betweeners
statement.
Bro, The In-Betweeners is a Channel 4 show. And I think one of the main characters, Jay, he was, when he got the gig for the first season, for the first 2 seasons, I think, he was still working his part-time job. Just because it just barely paid any money. It was in like, I'm not 100% sure, you'll have to like go listen to a YouTube video where he says it, but he said like the first season paid him like a few grand.
Really?
Yeah, and just to put that in like context, obviously Big Bang Theory is a huge show, but towards like season 6, 7, 8 onwards, each of the main actors were getting paid like $1 million plus per episode. So to think, a few grand for a season that was so successful.
Yeah.
Just kind of, it speaks volumes to it, but it's a Channel 4 show, isn't it?
It's about the platform that it's on. Big Bang Theory's got an international audience.
There you go.
And I feel like In-Betweeners has more very specific British humour.
It does,
that might not translate or resonate with.
I don't think it did.
Audience.
And I think just given the response in the UK, the US just wanted to like snatch the idea and do their twist on it. It happened
it happens.
Do you know what? I'll tell you a time where it's been successful, right? It happened with The Office, and the US Office I find funny.
Okay.
Because it was obviously it's based off Ricky Gervais's UK Office.
I really like Ricky Gervais's version. I love the UK Office.
Yeah, so do I. But I'm not saying
I'm
I
going to comment on the American one.
Yeah,
no, I gave it a chance.
Did you not enjoy it?
Well, I've watched about 20 episodes and I couldn't get into it. But I've not written it off. I am going to revisit it one day, but today's not that day.
Yeah, you don't sound so sure.
There's a lot of my watch list.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I just think, just going back to like the In-Betweeners US one, it just flopped. But the main reason I think is because you're right, it's like a very specific UK like school kind of humor, state school humor as well.
Yeah.
Like even like maybe private school kids might not relate to it as much.
When they brought it to the US, it wouldn't have the same writers.
No. Yeah, that's
And
one thing.
key, right?
Yeah.
And then once the actors themselves have that fan base and the audience comes back to sort of watch these guys, it's hard to replicate that again with a brand new cast, brand new writers, and almost changing the format entirely because the American audience won't sort of relate to the British school experience. That's what it was, wasn't it? The show.
Yeah, and I think right, it was that. Yeah, and it's that authenticity because the UK version, it was a Channel 4 production, and it didn't hold back at all. Like in terms of, it really showed like what school kids act like. It was raw. It was raw. It was graphic. There's kids swearing. It's just how we would all talk with our friends if we were in sixth form. Whereas the US one, they censor out the swear words. They cut out the swear words.
There's a lot more strict censorship in America.
Exactly, and I just think it just doesn't make it as like real and authentic. So that's why it kind of flopped for me. So yeah, going back to the actual Christmas going back to the Christmas special, it's the first season and it's episode 4. It's just called The Christmas Party.
Okay.
And it's basically like an end of term. All of the guys at the sixth form.
Does this take place in school as well?
Pretty much all of the episodes take place. They all feature like a scene or two in the school, but pretty much all of them are centered around the school because that's where all these guys met and that's how they became friends. So it's like an end of term Christmas party. And Will, who's like one of the main characters, he's like the geek of the friendship group, like the mum of the friendship group. He basically gets elected for like the chairman of the Christmas committee to organise the whole event.
Yeah,
but he basically was the only one to apply. That's why I got it. So it's just a story, and he basically drags all of his friends in, gets them all involved, and they're all like dopey idiots. Like they don't have a clue of what to do, so it ends up going like pretty horribly wrong for them all. And like they all try. It's just each of the friends try to. For example, like one of them trying to impress a girl. We all had a friend who we knew was just obsessed about a girl, was trying to always impress them. One of them's like the serious one, like Will. He's trying to organise the whole event and keep it intact. Yeah. One of them, like Jay, he's the one you've probably seen him in like memes and stuff as well.
I think I've
the one with the blonde hair, the one who blags everything, gasses everything. And he's the one who's like, I'll be the DJ. I DJ in Ibiza for like 2 years or stuff like that.
Okay.
That guy. So that's what I just loved about that show. And then at the end, when everything went wrong for every single one, they all kind of come back together when the whole party's finished and wrapped up. And there's like a trampoline in the sports hall where it's held. Right. And they all just sort of like jumping on there, talking about how awful their night was. And then, they just like laugh it off as friends would. And it's just like a very wholesome episode. I loved it.
Fair.
Loved it so much.
Nice.
Found it so funny.
I might have to check that one out.
I think you should.
At some point. Doctor Who is my number 3. I mean, it's not in any particular order.
It's not,
It's the third one I'm talking about. Have you ever watched Doctor Who?
I have, and the one I recall like watching and remembering watching the most is the David Tennant version.
Okay.
I did watch like a few of the Matt Smith episodes as well, but I just like remembered the David Tennant ones the most. I think he was like for people of my age, maybe the most.
I feel
prominent.
like he was a big fan favorite. Yeah. Now it's funny you mentioned that because this episode is pretty much his first episode I'm going to talk about here. It's a Christmas Invasion.
All right.
Now, I was a big fan of Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor. Season 1, Northern guy.
Can I ask like when this kid? When
2005 was the first season.
Oh, right, was it? I thought. I thought it was much older than that for some reason.
Well, there was a sort of 60s version.
Oh, right, okay,
that's right.
Okay, fair enough.
And then 70s, 80s. I think there's a movie I think in the 90s as well. One-off movie. And then it was sort of revamped, rebooted. 2005. Christopher Eccleston, Northern guy, comes in. Standout season. I was hooked. And then he dies.
Oh, man.
He dies. And, he gets regenerated as David Tennant. Now, everyone kind of forgets. I feel everyone kind of forgets Christopher Eccleston a little bit.
Because do you think that's because of how like great and successful Tennant was?
I just feel like it's because when the show really found its sort of place, that's when David Tennant was, the Doctor. It could have, if Christopher Eccleston stayed for 3 or 4 seasons, it could have been him who was the number 1 favourite household name sort of thing. I'm not taking anything away from David Tennant.
Yeah.
That's also my Doctor.
Great actor in it, yeah.
But the Christmas Invasion is when the Doctor, the first one, has just sort of died and now is regenerated as David Tennant.
Nice.
And it takes a lot of energy, so he's kind of sleeping, napping, if you will. And because of his energy signals by regeneration, it attracts some aliens to Earth. They're called the Sycorax, I think.
I was going to say, are they the Daleks? But that shows how much I know about the show.
The Daleks do actually turn up everywhere, but not in this particular episode. So these guys are coming over to take over, and they want to take over the whole planet.
Yeah.
And they can control people. They can hypnotize people.
You sound like the EDL.
Kind of, yeah. Same kind of methodology.
Same kind of message, right?
In their work.
Yeah.
Well, so they take over people's minds, half the population, I think, and they've made all these. Well, it's mind controlling the population, making them jump off buildings, and said, "We're going to make everyone kill themselves if you don't sort of submit."
This sounds really Christmassy.
Yourselves, very cozy Christmassy,
very heartwarming.
Eventually, obviously, the Doctor wakes up, challenges the main alien dude to a duel. He wins, and they all decide to leave.
Nice.
And while they're leaving, Harriet Jones, Prime Minister, she orders Torchwood. Torchwood is a secret sort of service. Deals with aliens. Think about Men in Black versus MI5 sort of collaboration. So Torchwood, she orders them to blow the ship up. This annoys the Doctor a lot. You know, they surrendered, and he's not really a murderer.
He's a fair guy.
He's a fair guy.
Yeah.
And he says, "I'm gonna take down you with 6 words." And he says to her aide, he says, "Don't you think she looks tired?" And that's it. And then obviously that's her downfall.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the end of the episode. But it's a very standout episode for me because that's when my doctor, Christopher Eccleston, he died and became David Tennant. I wasn't too sure about it, but obviously...
How did you feel about that?
Like, I was sad.
At first we said, but you said you grew into liking him.
Yeah. Don't want to say I cried. Wouldn't be...
Probably did.
Wouldn't be a lie if I said that.
I believe that.
No, but it was really sad for me.
Yeah.
Christopher Eccleston was the first Doctor, and it was only one season, 13 episodes, but it was such a good season, and I got into it. I was really engrossed, and then you hear about more seasons coming. Next thing you know, because the way the story goes and the way life goes in real life, people drift apart from shows.
So was this because I couldn't really take away any Christmassy thing? Was this just an episode that came out
Christmas?
Oh right, okay. I was gonna say,
and also it was the Christmas special of that year. It came out.
It came out at Christmas time. Fair enough.
And it was over Christmas, and obviously the aliens were too Christmas.
They have Christmas hats on.
They had Christmas hats on. They were telling people to jump off buildings in a Christmassy style, kill themselves.
Yeah.
But it was a really good episode.
Yeah, fair enough. That sounds good.
There are so many good Christmas specials from Doctor Who. I didn't want to list. My whole list could be just Doctor Who.
Really? Is that much? You're a huge sci-fi fan. I'm a huge
Doctor Who fan as well.
Yeah, in general. So
I've not been keeping up with it in recent years.
Is there a new season out?
I think there is a new season out.
Oh,
Jodie Whittaker is
she's the one from Huddersfield.
Yeah, she's Northern as well. I love her as a Doctor.
Is it good? I've not seen any of the episodes she's in.
She's good, but I've like I said, I've drifted away from the show. Peter Capaldi era onwards.
All right, okay.
So Peter Capaldi was a really good Doctor, but I think midway through his sort of run, drifted away. But I found out about Jodie Whittaker, watched a few of hers. It was good. It was really enjoyable. But once you drift, you kind of drift.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's a shame because I was so obsessed with that show for a while.
Right. Was that a staple show for you growing up?
100%, especially the Christmas special. Now I remember I used to wait pretty much. I used to be excited all year round for the Doctor Who Christmas special. Yeah.
That's like you said. If it come out at Christmas, you probably remember watching that at Christmas time.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. On Christmas Day sometimes.
On Christmas Day, nice.
And it was you know what? I'm not sure if there is one this year. There must be.
I'm not sure.
Do you know what's crazy? I've always kept up to date with
Doctor
Who for so many years, and then kind of fell off. But yeah, that's my third one on my list. Have you got any more? Or?
I actually haven't got any more on my list, but I know that having a sneak peek at your list, there's one that I'm excited to hear about, and I actually want to question you about it because I've not seen the show. But
so this is Community, of course, is what we're talking about. It's the show that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
where it's the one I'd recommend for you to watch, and anybody who's not seen Community, doesn't matter what sort of genre you're into in life. Right. If you only like sitcoms, if you only like soap operas,
you'll enjoy this. Right?
Yeah, if you only like sci-fi, please watch Community. It's amazing. It's such a good show, and the more viewers it gets, maybe one day they'll make a movie, and we can sort of.
So I just hear
prophecy come true because there's a sort of mantra throughout the show, and they say 6 seasons in a movie. Now, there's been 6 seasons. They've kind of dragged their way to 6 seasons, but there's never been a movie.
When you say drag the way, Does that mean
I'll
that it's
explain.
last? Okay,
So,
yeah, I want to
yeah.
know what that means.
The thing, okay, I'll talk about the Christmas episode in a bit. I just want to say, Community is a standout show. It is literally, for me, one of the highest caliber,
Really?
most well-written shows in terms of efficiency and optimization of the characters and the story.
Making it sound fun.
The script. No, I know. Pretty sciencey.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm a nerd. But no, it's a story about these 7 people, I think, who are in this community college, and they're at different stages of life. A few young, a few old.
Right, okay.
And they start a Spanish study group. And it was only started by Jeff because Jeff wanted to sleep with Britta. So he started the Spanish group just for that sole purpose.
Oh, right, okay.
They'll become friends. And it's about these 7 people, essentially, who every week get together to study Spanish. But they also take other courses together in this community college. And it was so good. Actually, I can't say anything bad about it.
Really?
But what I can say is the
that's a
first
first.
3 seasons are better than anything else I've ever seen. Ever. Like, it's so good.
I know the show gets a lot of hype, but you kind of sounded like it deserves it. So
100%. So Dan Harmon was the guy who wrote the show.
Right.
And he left after season 3. Creative differences maybe or something. And for season 4, it kind of went off the rails a little bit.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying it was bad. I enjoyed it a lot. But it wasn't Dan Harmon level.
Right.
And I think he came back for season 5.
Did he?
Yeah.
For writing.
But then there wasn't enough money in the show. It got cancelled. Then Yahoo, of all people,
Never heard. Yeah.
funded it.
Where did they come from again?
Yeah, they used to have a streaming service
Did they?
before sort of
Oh, mad.
before
the Netflix
Disney,
series,
before
you mean?
Amazon. It wasn't before Netflix,
Oh, it's like
but it was before Amazon and
Yeah.
sort of all these guys we know now, Hulu, I guess. And then they funded it for their streaming service, season 6.
right.
That's why I said sort of crawl their way to getting 6 seasons.
right.
But it never reached those highs of the first 3 seasons. But you need to watch. Like, if there's anything,
I genuinely want to watch this, by the
if
way.
there's any show you watch next, make sure it's Community.
Yeah.
It's too good. So the Christmas episode was about.
Yeah.
It's about Abed. Abed's uncontrollable Christmas. It's sort of bittersweet
Okay,
story.
what's that?
So the show is live action. You know this already.
Yeah.
But in this episode was sort of stop motion animation.
That sounds
In
interesting.
Christmas
Kind of weird.
sort of theme. And it's about Abed, and he's trying to find the meaning of Christmas in this episode. And it's proper cartoon. It's stop motion animation, really well made, really high production value. And everybody around him is trying to stop him, bring him back into reality, essentially. His study group.
Right.
And there's a psychologist there who's trying to sort of understand Abed's mind.
Right.
Like, why are you in this illusion? Why are you
Do you
hallucinating?
mean whilst he's trying to figure out the meaning of Christmas? Do you mean?
Yeah, so
Right, okay.
I should explain this better. In real life, they're all actually in the study room.
Oh, right. Okay.
But in
Okay.
Abed's imagination, he's in
Okay.
a Christmassy world, trying to find the meaning of Christmas. It's almost like a Christmas planet.
Sounds a bit like existential, kind of.
Yeah, he's on a Christmas planet. He's trying to head to the North Pole, I think, to find the meaning of Christmas. But everybody in real life is trying to. But we don't know this yet.
Trying to study, right? They're trying to.
They're not trying to study, trying to help Abed.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, because it's all about Abed this episode. But it's not. I don't think it's until maybe 10 minutes in we find out that they're all together in the same,
Right.
or what's even going on.
Can I just ask, by the way, is because I know like the only thing I know about the show is that Donald Glover's in it.
Yeah,
Who does he play? Is he Abed?
Troy.
Yeah.
Abed is played by Danny Pudi, who you might not have seen him in many other things.
The name doesn't ring a bell, to be honest with you.
He's in Mythic Quest, which is an Apple TV show. Apple's original.
I'm familiar with it. Like I've heard of it.
Mythic Quest is really good as well. But yes, Danny Pudi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Danny, is that right? Anyway, so he's Abed, and yeah, basically they're all trying to help him and figure out why is he hallucinating about this Christmas world. And then in the hallucination, he says, every Christmas on December 9th, my mum comes to watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with me.
Right.
And Troy goes, but Abed, it is December 9th right now.
So that's why.
And
It triggers like.
yeah, and he goes, we found a letter from your mum in real life. Found a letter from your mum saying she can't make it this year because she's divorced from his dad.
Oh, that's kind of
She goes, I'm going to spend Christmas, this month with my new family.
Oh, that's kind of sad,
And he must have seen that, and it triggered a hallucination, a magical world to find the meaning of Christmas. And that's what he realized through the episode. That's why he's sort of done this, created this world. And then obviously, in the end, he comes out, snaps out of it, comes to terms with it, and the study group, his new friends, they all watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer together.
That's
kind of
nice.
a
Nice
sweet-
ending. Like it's a nice ending, right?
But you need to watch, bro. Community is too good.
Yeah, I was already like I know people always say like, yeah, I'm gonna check out that show, bro. Don't worry, but like genuinely, I wanted to watch Community.
100%.
So
It's easy to jump in and out of. It is semi sort of continuous.
is it? Well, yeah, as every series kind of is, but
Yeah, but you can also jump in and out, I guess, a little bit.
yeah, that's you've sold me there. So
Yeah.
love that.
But yeah, that was Christmas specials.
Good fun talking about that. You know,
It was good. It was fun. That's kicking off our Christmas season.
exactly a
say
Christmas mini
season.
series.
It's probably going to be 2 episodes,
Yeah.
3 maybe. What have we got next? Coming up.
So
Push?
next we're talking about our favorite Christmas films.
We are.
I'm really excited about that
But
one.
before that, we might talk about our least favorite
Christmas films,
Christmas
yeah.
films.
Which I'm even more excited to talk about because we roast every film we watch
Very
extensively.
harshly.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Thanks for listening to episode 3.
Yeah. Hope you
With-
enjoyed.
Me, Shabir.
And me, Krish.
This is becoming a little routine that we're doing now.
Yeah.
Is this corny? Don't know.
Who
Don't
cares?
care.
We're going to do it anyway.
The Unreliable Narrator. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys next time.